Good Friday morning, and thank you for joining us here on KARE 11 News Now. I'm Jason Hackett. Starting off with a quick check of the weather here. Our KARE 11 weather impact alert is over, but that doesn't mean you won't see more rain anymore today. Audrey Russo's on the roads for us this morning, tracking showers as they moved across Minnesota.
It's been kind of a messy morning commute if you're heading anywhere in the metro. We've spent the bulk of our morning up in the northeast part. I'm going to turn around so you can get a closer look. We just came from Anoka and we are heading down to Coon Rapids. The rainfall has been fairly consistent and fairly steady throughout the morning. We haven't hit any patches of major downpour, but we know that slow and steady rain can still lead to hazards like puddles on the sides of the roads and breakdown lanes on local roads, in addition to highways. Driving for most of the morning on the highway, we did incur a little bit of splashback from the cars in front of us, so it's just another reminder to make sure you're leaving enough stopping distance between you and the car in front of you. If you're headed out in the next couple of hours, again, just something to make sure you're being aware of the fact that there may still be some puddles on the road even after the rainfall is through. So this is just one of those days where you want to make sure you're paying attention. You want to make sure you have your A game the minute you get in the car. But yeah, from what we're seeing, just a lot of rain on the roads right now. Back to you.
Audrey, thank you. And once the rain clears today, storm cleanup starts in Hutchinson. A severe thunderstorm warning popped up in Carver County. Take a look at these pictures posted on our That's So Minnesota Facebook page showing branches and trees snapped from winds estimated over 80 miles per hour. People there reporting hearing tornado sirens as well. Another big story we're following right now, a section of I-94 in Minneapolis will start shutting down at 9 o'clock tonight and won't reopen until Monday morning. Michelle Beck joining us now with what you need to know.
Well, hey there. Here is where you cross the Mississippi on 94. MnDOT will be shutting down this stretch between 35W and Huron Boulevard. So if you've got evening plans around here, remember that at 9 p.m. ramps will close and at 10 p.m. roads for both directions will close. So here is the official detour route you'll want to take. From the closure here in Minneapolis, you can take 35W, Highway 36, and then 35E. MnDOT says when construction is finally over, driving will feel smoother and the roads will be safer at 5 bridges along I-94. The weekend closure around Huron Boulevard will be to shift traffic, helping crews continue bridge repairs. They need to fix drainage, lighting, guardrails, and as you'll soon see, the pavement.
And we've got quite a bit of the pavement missing in here. They'll come in here, they'll clean this out, and then put new concrete down in here. It's just kind of a fact of life in Minnesota. We live in a very harsh climate. We have a lot of traffic out there. The freeze-thaw cycle breaks down the pavement, breaks down the concrete on the bridges, and we have to get out and repair them.
By 5 a.m. Monday, I-94 will be back up, but it will be down to 2 lanes in each direction through mid-August. So looking further down the road, MnDOT says all lanes on 94 between 35W and Huron Boulevard will be open for that high traffic event we all know as the State Fair. Back to you.
Michelle, thank you very much. Happening right now, a big escalation in Middle East tensions as Iran and Israel launch strikes on each other. Israel initiating by striking Iran's nuclear program and military leaders with strikes early this morning. Iran, meanwhile, fighting back, forcing Israel into a limited state of emergency. Right now, global airlines are suspending flights to the Middle East. This attack comes as the U.S. and Iran were supposed to start a 6th round of nuclear negotiations on Sunday. President Trump posting on Truth Social this morning, urging Iran to make a deal, quote, before it is too late. New this morning, officials have recovered the black box from that deadly plane crash in India that's left nearly 300 people dead. And that box will give investigators insight into what was happening before and when that plane went down. Right now, the U.S. is sending crews from the NTSB, FAA, and Boeing to help India with the crash investigation. We know one passenger survived the plane crash. They are currently in the hospital recovering. Developing right now, an appeals court is allowing President Donald Trump to maintain control of California's National Guard to try to quell anti-immigration enforcement protests in the city. The ruling will likely go all the way to the Supreme Court as another appeal hearing is set for early next week and comes as final preparations are underway for the nation's first military parade in decades. NBC's Chris Pallone has the latest details from Washington.
As anti-ICE protests spread from California to cities across the country, a federal appeals court says President Trump can continue to direct National Guard troops he sent to Los Angeles to help quell violent demonstrations. The reversal just hours after a lower court gave California Governor Gavin Newsom a sweeping but short-lived victory.
Today is a big day for the Constitution of the United States, for our democracy.
While migrant roundups continue, the president acknowledging his crackdown is impacting businesses and appears to be considering a policy change.
We can't do that to our farmers, and leisure too, hotels.
The passionate debate over immigration reaching from the streets
I have questions for the secretary
to the highest levels of government. California Senator Alex Padilla forced from the room and briefly handcuffed after interrupting Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem during a news conference.
I began to ask a question. I was almost immediately forcibly removed from the room. I was not arrested. I was not detained.
Padilla's Democratic colleagues outraged.
That sickened my stomach. The manhandling of a United States senator. We need immediate answers to what the hell went on.
Secretary Noem insisting it was a case of mistaken identity.
We sat down for 10 to 15 minutes and talked about the fact that nobody knew who he was.
Meanwhile, final preparations are underway for the nation's first military parade in more than 30 years Saturday. The forecast in Washington not looking good.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the tanks at all. It doesn't affect the soldiers. They're used to it. They're tough, smart.
The parade celebrates the Army's 250th anniversary.
Well, this morning back here at home, a woman arrested after last week's protests on federal raids in Minneapolis is now out of custody. Isabel Lopez is charged with assaulting a sheriff's deputy and federal officers while federal agents were executing search warrants on Lake Street. Lopez will be free until her trial, which has not been scheduled just yet. Happening right now, some of you will want to know about this. If you have a student waiting to attend the U of M, the Board of Regents may be increasing tuition significantly for next school year. The U's proposed budget includes a 6.5% increase for undergraduate in-state students at the Twin Cities and Rochester campuses, 7.5% for out-of-state students. The plan also includes 7% cuts to programs across the board. The university says these proposed changes are partially the result of federal research funding cuts and uncertain state funding. Many faculty and staff expressing frustration.
What we have to do is essentially fire hundreds of adjunct instructors
by increasing tuition at rates far above inflation while threatening to enact 7% cuts. The university is showing its disregard for its mission to ensure accessible world-class education for its undergraduate and graduate students.
Now, the Board of Regents will vote on the budget proposal next Wednesday. And a frightening development for the U of M Board of Regents themselves. Police are now investigating after several members had their homes vandalized on Thursday morning. In a statement, the school says it believes it was in retaliation for the university selling the Umore Park property in Rosemount to a local aerospace company. The U's president saying there was a clear attempt to threaten the Regents.
Well, we do not yet know who these individuals are who committed these illegal and frightening acts. The university unequivocally condemns this and all vandalism, threatening behavior, and acts of violence.
Well, this morning, Cub Food says all its pharmacies are back up and running after an apparent cyber attack on its parent company. United Natural Food previously said it had to take some systems down and they couldn't fill new prescriptions at about half of their pharmacies. Now, that hack also affecting store shelves and not just at Cub. Raya Katene spoke with a cybersecurity expert about how businesses can keep this from happening.
In the heart of Northeast Minneapolis.
We are open for business. We've got tons of food.
It's mostly business as usual at the Eastside Food Co-op.
So, I mean, you can see there's still a lot of product, which is great, but like these are out and we can't get more right now.
Ann Gazzola is the general manager at this community-owned market, one of the grocery stores across the Twin Cities impacted by the cyber attack against United Natural Foods, a major food distributor for stores across the country. United Natural Foods owns Minnesota-based Cub Foods and is the main supplier for Whole Foods. It also supplies smaller stores like this one.
It's definitely impacted us. There are some empty spots on some shelves.
Gazzola says the co-op works with local suppliers as much as possible, but right now they're unable to order certain brands of items like chips, crackers, and dairy products, although alternatives are available.
We're just working day to day to make sure that we're bringing in what we can.
52 to 53 distribution centers across the United States could not really fulfill any orders because of this attack. So it's pretty major.
Eric Ebner is the Chief Technology Officer for 360 Security Services. Details about the United National Foods attack are sparse, but Ebner says even huge corporations are susceptible to ransomware attacks, adding that the most important step for protection is having quality training for employees.
The human element is the hardest aspect of this to secure and protect and defend, because we are human and we make mistakes. Stop, think, click saves so many people from doing the wrong thing.
As local grocery stores navigate the coming days, their doors remain open for business.
Keep coming and shopping.
Well, stick with us. More news and weather coming up after this break.